President Xi Jinping of China warned on Tuesday that no one can dictate China's economic development path as the country's Communist Party marked 40 years of its historic reform and opening up new policies amid a strained challenge from the United States. In a speech at the grandiose Great Hall of People, Xi Jinping owed to the press that Beijing will not deviate from its one-party system or take orders from any other country. The great banner of socialism has always been flying high over the Chinese land, said Xi Jinping. The leaders of the Communist Party of China is the most essential feature of the socialism with Chinese characteristics and the great advantage of the socialist system with Chinese characteristics. Making reforms enact under the late paramount leader Deng Xiaoping on December 18, 1978, claims the Chinese is locked in a diplomatic spat and a bruising trade war with the United States. The rivals have agreed to 90-day truce as they seek to negotiate a solution, with the United States seeking a reduction in its massive trade deficit as well as a deeper reforms in China to stop the alleged theft of intellectual property. Without directly referring to the United States, Xi Jinping said that China poses no threat to any country but warned that it would not be pushed around. No one is in a position to dictate to Chinese people what should or should not be done. While Xi Jinping promised more reforms, he did not offer any specifics. The United States and Europe have long complained of lingering obstacles to fully entering into Chinese massive market, while the Chinese companies enjoy the benefit of open Western economics abroad. The reform pulled hundreds of millions of people out of poverty and turned China into the world's second biggest economy, but it is currently facing a debt mountain and slowing economy, which grew by 6.9% later this year and is expected by the government to slow to around 6.5% this year. Deng's reform broke with the chaotic policies of his predecessors, Chairman Mao Zedong. Tuesday's ceremony included the awarding of the medals to more than 100 individuals whom the party recognized as a key contributor to the country's development, from people involved in the rural reforms and poverty alleviations to China's richest man Alibaba founder Jack Ma and retired NBA legend Yao Ming. China now boasts the most dollar billionaires in the world with 620. I think China now in a state capitalism under one-party dictatorship or party-run capitalism, he said. Beijing-based political analyst Wu Keng told an AFP. Wu said that the trade war could be a chance for China to enact more changes. If the Communist Party is smart enough, it may transform it into a starting point of a second reform and opening up and change the role of a party and the state. When the party enacted the reform under Deng, China was still suffering from famine and was emerging from the Cultural Revolutions, a period of intense social and political upheaval launched by Mao. This new revolution started in a countryside where the authorities began to decultivate land and dismantle communes, but it quickly spread to the cities. Very often opposing power based in economically powerful Shanghai, Deng chose the extreme south of the country as a guinea pig for its reforms. The southern cities, including Shenzhen, which border Hong Kong and was still a fishing village, were designated China's first special economic zone that became the powerhouse and model for the test of the country. Shenzhen has become a global technological hub, with China's internet giant Tencent and telecom titans like Huawei choosing the city for their headquarters. The poverty rate among the rural population dropped to 3.1% last year from 97.5% before 40 years. So what do you think of China's President Xi Jinping himself warning no one can dictate China to say whatever they have to do or not to do, straightly or directly saying to the United States? As India is moving US to the backseat, as India becomes the fastest growing country in last 5 years. In Geneva, India's air connectivity has grown the fastest in the last 5 years, and there is a strong strength and growth ahead in terms of domestic passenger numbers, though there are infrastructure challenges according to the global airlines body IATA, or the International Airport Transport Association. India is the fastest growing domestic aviation market in the world, and IATA's chief economist Brian Pierce said. The country registered double-digit growth in domestic aviation market for 50th consecutive month in October. An analysis by the International Airport Transport Association, or the IATA, showed that the air connectivity grew the fastest in 114% in the 5-year period from 2013 to 18. Many of the markets where connectivity has grown fastest, unsurprisingly, are in the Asia, India, China, and Indonesia, the grouping said in the presentation during the Global Media Day here in Geneva. As per the IATA, which is a grouping of around 290 airlines, connectivity is the extent to which a country is integrated into the global airport and transport network. In recent years, many foreign as well as the Indian carriers have commenced flight to and from various Indian cities. About domestic passenger growth, Pierce told that there is a strong growth ahead, but the challenges with infrastructure is that the airports are crowded. We needed more terminals and runway capacity. We have seen concessions for many airports leading to large rise in airport charges. On steps being taken in India to address the infrastructure issues, he said additionally capacity is being put in place and some very good modern airports being built, which is a real positive in 2005 to 2014. I think that the cost of using those airports is high. The peer said it is because the economic regulations have not been strong as we would have hoped, because the concession agreements were made with very large royalties. The lessons for the future is to provide good infrastructures because more is needed but at an affordable rate, he noted. IATA's director Hemant Mistry said the historical airport concessions have suffered from unduly long and arbitrary concession lengths. These can be for benefit of governments and the concessionary. We have seen many examples of very high concession fees where a large proportion of gross revenue of the airport is diverted to the government and not necessarily reinvested back into the aviation. According to him, there are also examples where concessions are negotiated with fixed pricing over the concession term, which risk a situation where the charges are not reflective of the service and infrastructure provided to the airlines and passengers. So what do you think of India pushing back US and China and becoming the fastest growing connectivity in airline services in the world? President Donald Trump alleged joke he could play a matchmaker for Prime Minister of India Mr. Narendra Modi after learning from aides that the 67-year-old Indian leader has long been estranged from his wife. According to a new report in Politico, the article detailed a long list of diplomatic faux pas that Trump has made with foreign leaders around the globe, including a lack of telephone etiquette, mispronunciations, and awkward meetings.
So we want fair trade deals. We want reciprocal trade deals. Scott Walker has a wonderful company called Harley Davidson in Wisconsin, right? Great. So when they send a motorcycle to India, as an example, they have to pay 100% tax, 100%. Now, the Prime Minister, who I think is a fantastic man, called me the other day. He said, we are lowering it to 50%. I said, okay, but so far we're getting nothing. So we get nothing, he gets 50, and they think we're doing, like they're doing us a favor. That's not a favor. And you know what I'm talking about. It's a great company.
Trump also displayed a lack of familiarity with South Asia, according to a report. Ahead of the meeting last year with Prime Minister Modi at the White House, Trump allegedly studied a map of South Asia and mispronounced Nepal as Nepal and referred to Bhutan as Bhutan, the Politico said, according to unnamed sources. The president seemed confused that the two countries which borders India even existed, said a new report. He didn't know what those were. He thought it was all part of India, a source told to Politico. Also, he was like, what is this stuff in between and these other countries? After Trump's staffers told the president that Prime Minister Modi would not bring his wife along to the meeting at the White House, Trump allegedly joked that, I think I can set him up with somebody else. The report said according to two people briefed on the meeting. White House spokesperson Sarah Huckabee Sanders told Politico that the Trump has developed strong relationship with America's closest allies, which allow for a candid conversation.
It's a pleasure to have you here, Donald.
Well, Justin, it's been really great, and I appreciate, Justin has agreed to cut all tariffs and all trade barriers between Canada and the United States. So I'm very happy about that.
So I'd say NAFTA's in good shape.
But we are actually working on it. But our relationship is very good. We are actually working on cutting tariffs and making it all very fair for both countries.
Although India and US relationship are basically sounded, things have been tense in recent months because of the clashes on the trade and the administration decision to cancel an important meetings of US Secretariats of Defense and stayed with their respective Indian counterparts. It is now scheduled for September 6, 2018. Prime Minister Modi has invited Trump to be the chief guest at the India's Republic Day military parade on 2019 January 26, but there is no word yet whether the president will accept. More or less, Trump of United States as a president won't come. So what do you think of the insults and the jokes about and mocking of Indian Prime Minister Modi by the President of US Mr. Donald Trump? Post your comments below, and if you like this video, please give a thumbs up and follow us on social networks and subscribe to our channel. And thanks for watching. This is WEC Daily. Think big, think different. Bye.